Welcome in. Game Time Decisions is live on a Thursday night. I'm Kevin Walsh with you for 2 hours to go after tonight. Next time I see you, Las Vegas, Super Bowl 58, Niners, Chiefs. Excited to break it down for you. We will have some touchdown scorers tonight as we again send you off and get you closer to Super Bowl 58. But let's start with some news from the National Football League today. With the coaching cycle coming to its conclusion, the last remaining job goes to Dan Quinn, the Washington Commanders, hiring the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. The biggest winner of this feels like the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. I am so on Dan Quinn as a head coach. If he gets the offensive coordinator spot right, my tone will change. But that is very key. Look, Dan Quinn had success, but they had Kyle Shanahan in Atlanta. He has to get the offensive coordinator right. But the reason that this is an obvious win for the teams outside of Washington in the division is Dallas finally lost Dan Quinn as their defensive coordinator. The ability to have a guy like Quinn as your DC has been a huge advantage for Dallas. We're seeing it pay off and have seen it for Kansas City with Spags, right? Cincinnati, Lou Anarumo. When you have, let's call it what it is, an older defensive coordinator, they are less likely to leave town, but Dan Quinn's success in Dallas was notable and clearly enough to get him the position here with Washington. Really? Detroit Lions, sneaky winner as well. The fact they didn't lose Ben Johnson and a top of the conference peer lost their DC, you got to mention that as well. We'll bring our radio audience into the fold. Appreciate all those here with us on SportsGrid, including SiriusXM Channel 159. Last note, second overall pick for the Commanders. Can they get quarterback right? Obviously, a big question. We'll open this up here, and we'll put eyes to start with yesterday's NBA slate. And there were some returns that went well. Durant scored 33 at the Barclays Center. The Suns get the job done and cover on the road against the Nets. And some returns that were a disaster. Damian Lillard scores 25 in Portland, and they lose outright as a 10.5-point favorite to the Portland Trailblazers. Look, teams lose all the time. But this team debuts Doc Rivers in Denver and loses no cover. And losing your debut for Doc was going to be tough, but it came at Denver. You can forgive it, right? To go to Portland to get Doc his first win since taking the job and get Dame a win in the return and lose as a 10.5-point favorite. It's early to maybe use the word disaster, but it's bad. It is bad in Milwaukee. Not a lick of confidence coming out of this group. The idea I figured would be really good regular season with Doc, usual postseason flame out. Maybe he's trying to spin it and it'll just be a disastrous regular season and they can get hot come April. This is an ugly one. I get it, they're 32-16. This is an ugly one. Let's put eyes on tonight's NBA slate because the by far and away game that jumps out is now your biggest spread of the night, Boston and LA. Lakers, no Anthony Davis, no LeBron James. The Lakers are pushing towards entering the NBA's trade deadline under 500. That's where this is trending right now. Luckily for them, the play-in exists, and the Lakers season won't be over until way later on. But what is going to be the idea around this team when they hit the deadline? Because I'll tell you right now, it's not like they're going to be going in red hot. They've already dropped 2 straight. Would be a miracle win in Boston tonight. Are they going to be more aggressive due to the disastrous nature that is now feeling like it is sinking in for this team? Or do they pull back and say it's a lost year? And if that second one is on the table, is there any chance, that LeBron tries to get out of town? Certainly worth noting. Halliburton goes to the Garden. We've got the Cavs. Really interesting game. Last night, they get back Darius Garland, so they were full go for the first time in a long time. Donovan Mitchell went wild, 45 points in the game. Back-to-back. I know beating up on Detroit, maybe you don't think takes a lot out of you, but they did not cover that basketball game. They now go to Memphis on the second leg. What does this look like lineup-wise? Who is available? It's a big question, and it's a question as well for Philadelphia. We know that Joel Embiid is not available. Could they get Tyrese Maxey back heading into Utah? They are a dog, though, in that game and will be whether Maxey plays or not. College hoops tonight, top 25 action, only 2 teams available. Wisconsin in Big Ten play makes the move to Nebraska. This line fluctuating a bit. Let's call it a pick right now. The Cornhuskers dropped it at Maryland, but still remain unbeaten so far in Big Ten play. Arizona, last time out, handled their business against the Oregon Ducks on the road, but for the Wildcats, getting back home, playing a Cal Bears team that they've already played and had success against, they're going to feel good about. We'll hit this game for a quick pick in the moment, but let's shimmy over to the Super Bowl here. Take a look at the odds between the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. 49ers growing a bit stronger, it feels, as the week's going on. 2.5s now starting to appear. I now think it is possible we do see the 3s reappear on KC. I think you are now at a point, if you are a Chiefs bettor, you're patient and you're waiting. Or you're paying up to 3, and we can maybe talk about this on the show, how expensive that might be. There is a chance this line works its way back. Look, it might sound ridiculous to some that this line could push towards that field goal again, but it's where it's opened. And there's a lot of people that do believe the Niners are a better football team across the board. That when you line these teams up, yes, Pat versus Purdy is a huge advantage, but the Niners are power-rated better. And if that is the case, then maybe we see 3 again. 47.5, by the way, largely steady. Did see a flat 47 out there. Looks like under money coming in right now for Super Bowl 58. Quick pick. Arizona, Cal. We mentioned it, one of the 2 top 25 teams in action. Oumar Bayo, the big man for the Wildcats, gets over 9.5 rebounds in this game. If you look for Bayo, could have had this against the Ducks, landed 9. Why? Foul trouble, only 20 minutes. I think tonight Bayo will make sure he does not get in foul trouble, and I think he's going to make sure he gets his against a Cal team he's already feasted on, had 11 rebounds on the road when he played Cal. Last 2 home games, 13 rebounds in each. Give me Bayo over the rebounds. We'll hit the rest of the card next.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
He should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they do.
In-game live. Prime time.
Yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
better.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Did like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting, ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're live right here. It is Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you on this Thursday night. I want to start in the association. It is a light card for me tonight, admittedly. A lot of that has to just do with the injury situation in the league and me having to kind of just today, I had to attack the board a little bit earlier, and there's a lot of question marks there. And some of that you've now started to really see impact the market. The Lakers earlier in the day were catching 11 at Boston, now catching 15 points. The Knicks line has dropped down a bit against Indiana, 2.5. Cavs have grown a bit stronger, 8.5. Philly still sitting at 5 in Utah. It is just a 4-game board. But my best bet tonight does come from the NBA, and it is Tyrese Halliburton to record a double-double at -105. And perhaps my confidence here comes from being on the right side of, and this number is actually now +115, which is incredible. Perhaps some of my confidence comes from being on the right side of Halliburton, his right side of his return game. So Halliburton comes back against Boston, plays 22 minutes, and goes under at 10.5 assist prop, at 19, 20.5 points prop, and at 3.5 rebounds prop. I was on that rebounds prop, which was ended up kind of being the biggest sweat of the bunch, with it being the short number. But for Halliburton, in that game, it was the way it played out, which was he played normal minutes basically until halfway through the third, and then he never came back in the game, which was really, really interesting and not what you would have anticipated. The books seemingly weren't aware Halliburton was on a minutes limit or how strict the limits were going to be. Why do I say that? Well, his points prop now today, 15.5. His assist prop, 9.5. And the rebounds prop has even moved as well, down to 2.5. All of these are bettable numbers, right? Not even anything too juiced out. I'm on Halliburton for a double-double, though. He hit this last game against Boston. A better defense, no ifs, and, or buts, than that of the New York Knicks. So that right there is very, very comforting. I mentioned the sample size heading into the matchup with Boston. It was at the time 6. It is now 7 games where Halliburton has played less than 30 minutes. Removing the game against Boston, he exited early with an injury and only played about 13 or so minutes. But now in the 7 games, Halliburton has recorded a double-double in 5 of them. He has 28 double-doubles in 35 overall and 14 double-doubles in 15 road games. Look, you could just take this to the 9.5 assist prop if you want. I am not anticipating that this is going to be coming in via his rebounding number, obviously steals, blocks. And I likely would have just played the assist, but this morning it was 10.5 assists. This move here from the books, again, feels like a lot of people have now come in on Halliburton unders. But the minutes restriction is only going to be lessened as this goes on. So this is a wild overreaction all of a sudden here on Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm happy to be on his double-double at -105. And again, you can now get better numbers on Hallie today. Before I go forward, let me get Davis Maddock in the fold here. His same-game parlay comes from this matchup as well between the Knicks and the Pacers. Here's Davis Maddock's SGP.
All right, guys, we are back with another same-game parlay over on the FanDuel Sportsbook. We are just going to continue to ride the red-hot New York Knicks. I mean, really, I don't think any team in the NBA has been the story of January the way that the Knicks have. They are playing the Pacers at home tonight. The Pacers getting healthy, but we don't even care. We are taking the Knicks -3.5 at home here on the spread. This is the third time this week we are taking the Knicks, and we are not backing off. We are also going to take the under on 238.5. I do think if the Pacers were to win this game, it would definitely be their pace and space just kind of overwhelms some of those smaller Knicks lineups. The Knicks actually playing a little bit smaller without Julius Randle in the lineup, so we just want to bet on that Knicks defense, locking in those perimeter guards, Pascal Siakam, and everything for the Pacers. And then the final leg of our same-game parlay, basically a lock at this point. We are going to take Jalen Brunson to score 25 or more points, something he has done in 4 of his last 5 games. He's really one of the most efficient scoring guards in the Eastern Conference right now. This 3-leg same-game parlay is going to give us plus 258 odds on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Knicks -3.5, under 238.5. Jalen Brunson to score 25 or more points. Good luck tonight, everybody.
All right, appreciate the breakdown there from Davis Maddock. One thing that caught my attention from Brunson was his 3-point prop. 2.5, and very bettable juice now at -115 on Brunson. 6+ attempts in each of the last 2 games played without Randle. If that workload's going to be consistent, you can get over it, and I'm wondering if it can even uptick a little bit. He's landed 2 for 6 in 2 straight. Something to keep your eyes on with Brunson tonight. College basketball, we mentioned Oumar Bayo over 9.5 rebounds back home where he's had consecutive games of 13+, and he had 11 rebounds in just 21 minutes early season against Cal. You look at the misses against Oregon, all due to foul trouble, and against Oregon State, just a different type of basketball game that kind of forced Tommy Lloyd's hand here. I think you're going to see Bayo tonight, and this could be a sneaky way to look towards the over. Look, nobody likes fouling out and having their minutes cut. Tommy Lloyd basically fouled out Oumar Bayo, was very, very risk-averse in how he used his big man. And because of that, because he made him sit on the bench for so long while in foul trouble, he never even actually fouled out. But I think what you'll almost see from Bayo tonight is be overly cautious. That's my guess in defending the rim a bit, at least after a first foul. Just something to keep your eyes on. I am going to take Nebraska tonight as well, +1.5. I like this Wisconsin team a lot. Preseason future on them, but a spot is a spot. And the spot tonight is on Nebraska. I do want to get the most updated number for everybody on this here. Look, I'm assuming it's moved a bit, so I just want to check. But it's not going to be a situation where they're catching 1.5 and then laying 1.5. I'm going to be completely out on the situation. I expect them to win this game tonight. It is, but yeah, still plenty 1.5s, ones pick in this spot right now. Here's what it comes down to. 2 things. 1, Nebraska's not lost at home yet in Big Ten play. That is very, very important. Plus, coming off of a loss to Maryland, I like it. But also, we just saw Wisconsin lay 2.5 at Minnesota. They ended up only winning that game by 2 and remarkably not even covering. But the point is, for Wisconsin to lay that number at Minnesota and then still lay 1.5 here, I feel like you're looking at a spot. They've not moved this enough considering the road. And we know home road splits in college basketball are very real. The gap between Nebraska and Minnesota is more than a point, right? And we saw this team's prior road game before that be at Penn State, lay 5.5, lose outright. Their only loss so far in Big Ten competition. I think the second does come tonight. Give me Nebraska plus 1.5. One other thing to keep your eyes on tonight with the NBA board is both AD and LeBron being out. And I am trying to double check because I don't know if we have, and I don't think we do, any games yet this season where they have both missed time, and we don't. What that means is the books are now in an interesting spot trying to figure out is who to price where as the lead man for this basketball team now, props-wise. D'Angelo Russell gets the nod with a 21.5, but it's the same number as Austin Reeves. Rui Hachimura checks in 13.5. All stuff we'll discuss here tonight. Game Time Decisions is live in SportsGrid. Coach James Young up next.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense.
See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterback,
Pharrell
backup quarterback.
Coast to Coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game Time
I have
Decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
competitive.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We
for
did.
station. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back with you right here on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Coach James Young in the fold. JY, little Game Time Decisions. How are you, sir?
Hey man, it's Thursday night. It's K-Dub and JY. Not a lot of games tonight in the NBA.
Yeah.
Light slate, but I'm sure we can find some winners for the people.
It is a light slate, Coach. Maybe it'll allow us, though, to zoom out some of the big picture stuff. And I think we can kind of start that, though. Look, Lakers-Celtics is always a fun game, but tonight it's supposed to be an absolute rout, 15-point line. Let's just start here. Are you betting this game tonight?
I'm going to bet it, but I'm going to just go first half. I mean, let's be honest. I'm worried about the backdoor cover, which could happen. Kevin, we could talk about at times, teams without their stars for one game, they show up. This Lakers team is so damn bad with LeBron and AD. How bad are they going to be without them? So to me, I just think the Celtics just punch them early in the mouth. I'm going to take the Celtics minus 8.5 in the first half. They'll be up by double digits.
Yeah, it's a lot, though, Coach. I'm staying away from the side here. We've seen teams kind of, because the Celtics go, we got to get up, they're not, no one's playing in this game? Nah, we don't care. Never mind. And so that would be my worry, JY, is you don't get the best foot forward from Boston. But look, my question to you now, when you look at this Lakers team, lost 2 in a row, supposed to lose tonight, that would put them 2 games under 500. I believe we're only going to have 2 more games for this team before the deadline. Maybe a few more, but that deadline, when is it? When is the deadline, JY? Because we're going to be out there in Vegas.
It's a week from today. I think it's the 8th.
Of that Thursday? Mm-hmm. So they're going to play at the Knicks and at the Hornets, and then they play late night in Denver where who knows who will be available, who will be traded. If you're the Lakers, you're sitting there under 500 at the deadline. Does that make you more aggressive or less aggressive?
Kevin, you have to be aggressive. You got LeBron James at 39 years old, who basically after the game against Atlanta, in so many words, shredded his whole team, like shredded his teammates. And you're Rob Pelinka, and here's the thing what Rob Pelinka did. Rob Pelinka went and got parts, but he didn't add the problem with the Lakers, which is perimeter shooting. They don't have shooters. They're relying on guys that can't get it done. And here's the thing, when you look at this schedule with the Lakers, right, you just talked about it a little bit. After, the deadline, do we really think they're going to make a run and lean on LeBron James to literally carry them all the way through? I think that's the part that's a little bit worrisome is I know LeBron's going to bring it. Who else is going to bring it? And you look at the strength of schedule, they have the 9th toughest schedule the rest of the way. They're still going to play Minnesota twice, fighting for a 1 seed. Oklahoma City, once, fighting for a 1 seed. Clippers, once. Denver twice, Milwaukee twice. Kevin, where are the wins? So I think that's the big concern with them is they got to make a move quick or else I think this could get really ugly at the end of the season. Maybe they try and fire Darvin Ham, but he's not going to fix the mistakes that Rob Pelinka's made, let's be honest.
But here's my question then, JY, right, with this team. It seems like the consensus is given up on the idea that the Lakers can contend in the West at a serious level. And, okay, fine, right? Got it. If that is the case, and they're not going to push in for Zach LaVine, DeJounte Murray, right? Then, shouldn't they be trading LeBron? Look, if I'm missing something, and I prefer to, because then I'll just drop the conversation. LeBron's contracts at times, it's tough to figure out what is allowed and what isn't. But if LeBron is eligible to move,
yes,
right, which I believe he is, Coach, then shouldn't the Lakers just trade him?
Yes. And listen, at the end of the day, LeBron is still going to fetch you something, right? And let's put it this way. If you're not going to make a move this year, Kevin, when are the Lakers going to make a move with LeBron, right? It's not going to magically, boom, they're all going to get better in a year. This is done. So if you're the Lakers, go to LeBron and say, where do you want to go? And let's see if we can figure out something. He's good. Listen, I know what's this guy. What's the knucklehead's name on Fox Sports? Nick Wright? He ain't terribly wrong. I know people get mad at me about the Julius Randle thing. I really don't care. But if they said to the Knicks, Randle 48 and 3 number ones, you think New York's going to say no to that? They'll make a trade. Philadelphia will make a trade. Milwaukee will make a trade. Anybody that's got a chance to win a ring that can get LeBron James in a stretch run is going to take a look at it. So if you're the Lakers, if you're not going to go trade for DeJounte Murray, you're not going to trade for Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, you're not going to make for a difference maker on the wing that's going to help you win, then go the other way. Keep AD, trade LeBron, and build around Anthony Davis.
Again, you know what? Yes, this is probably me half rooting in for my dream scenario, but Tobias Harris and Daniel House Jr.'s money matches perfectly for a trade to get LeBron to Philly. Obviously, picks would have to be added in. I don't know how many, but like JY, for a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, right, who are now battling, Embiid's about to miss a little time here, right? Potentially. You don't want to miss out on good seeding. You have Maxey already in place, so you know you're good for the future, right? Because but what if LeBron leaves? Tobias isn't expiring. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't matter. Tobias isn't expiring. If LeBron opts out, if the money's not on your books anyway, are you telling me there's a better use for the 76ers with those draft picks? And you're telling me LeBron would turn down the move? I can't imagine LeBron would turn down that move.
Well, here's the thing, and LeBron's a historian, right? So if you send him to a place like Philadelphia, right, that hasn't won a championship since '83, a sports-craved town, fanatics what they are with their fans, he'll go there. I'll tell you what, you think I'm crazy? He'd go to New York in a second. The team hasn't won in 50 years. Listen, LeBron goes to the Knicks, they win a championship, they're putting a statue outside of MSG. Not of Patrick Ewing. Not of Walt Frazier. Or maybe Walt, because Walt kind of dresses almost as good as JY dresses. But you know what I'm saying? You have to, at the NBA, the way the draft works, it's very rare that you hit home runs, right? So why are you holding on to picks? If you're Philadelphia, make a move. Tobias is probably going at the end of this year anyway. If you're the Knicks, Julius Randle's probably going in a year anyway, next year, because he's a tradable contract. Make the move. If I'm LeBron, they lose my 30 today, I'll walk into Rob Pelinka saying, get my ass out of here tomorrow. And I guarantee you, some of these teams will go make a move for LeBron James.
I just think it's a situation where it's so funny because I'll be honest with everyone. I've not really had this conversation much, the trade LeBron one, but maybe, and I don't know, maybe folks at home watching and listening are getting a different reaction out of this conversation than I am, but it makes more sense than it probably ever has before when you bring up the trade LeBron topic. And again, for the teams that aren't the Lakers, like, you wouldn't have to give up as much as you'd think. The world where this is a useless conversation is the one where the Lakers say, we can't handle the PR nightmare of trading LeBron.
Oh, God.
But is it a PR nightmare?
Oh, God.
I don't know.
No, I agree with you. That would be the dumbest take ever. Why? You don't want to trade LeBron because you're worried that you're going to look bad as the Lakers? Like, bro, they're going nowhere. So you're going to hold on to him for what? He can turn around and leave at the end of the year anyway and be so frustrated with what's going on.
Well, so that's the other thing, too, and I'll just make this point. Look, it's an important conversation because we try and figure out who can kind of shift title odds with stuff. This would be different, JY, and it has been different in years prior when we don't expect or we fully expect LeBron is coming back, right? That is when it is different. But we are under the impression that LeBron is going to move wherever his son is, right? So if you're the Lakers, and I know, and I'm not trying to open a debate about, I know LeBron is struggling at USC. I still think he enters the NBA. That'll play out how it plays out. But if you're the Lakers and you basically there's nothing you can do aside from drafting his son to keep him, you're probably losing him anyway, right? Because I feel like this Lakers front office is going to be like, we're not drafting this kid. We don't want to cave to that. I almost wonder if that's where they are. So, look, man, if LeBron is on the block and you're a team where you might have a chance to bring him in as guy 2, you have to consider it heavily because it only takes one team to make that move. I'll tell you right now.
Listen,
Philly
I'll tell you right now.
Jumps Milwaukee, JY, if they had LeBron.
They jumped in.
I don't think they jumped Boston, though.
They jumped Boston. They jumped Boston.
I don't think they would.
LeBron is the second or third option? If Embiid's healthy? Oh, God, they jumped Boston. Absolutely. Plus, you got to think of the fact of this. Nick Nurse, Joe Mazzulla. Who are you trusting if the teams are close?
I'm not saying I wouldn't bet Philly. I'm talking about where the market goes because of how strong Boston's booked, but it'll be interesting. Don't worry, you're not missing on anything. We got all the coaches' college plays and the rest of his NBA board next right here, SportsGrid on a Thursday night.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
Well, look at the Heisman Trophy.
The early line.
And what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at this deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news. Trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
Coast to Coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time decisions.
I have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime time.
Yard for a grand slam.
In the bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
better.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid
We
information. Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting, ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
live on a Thursday night. Kevin Walsh joined by Coach James Young. JY, let's get to it here. 7:30 at the Garden, the Knicks and the Pacers. What are you looking for?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Knicks on the money line tonight. I think this is a team that's really playing well, probably as good as any team in the NBA. Yes, you do have Halliburton back tonight, but I do believe OG is in the lineup tonight, so I think that.
I think he's out.
He's out? Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go with this guy now. All right, but anyway, I'm sticking with it. I'm going with the Knicks on the money line. They're playing extremely well. They struggle, Indiana, against the three, and DiVincenzo's been hot like fish grease. Give me the Knicks on the money line.
All right, take a look there. Cavs, Coach, they're with the Grizzlies tonight. Second leg of a back-to-back. How do you feel?
Okay, it could be back-to-back. I mean, the Grizzlies, they ain't got Steven Adams. They don't got Desmond Bain. They don't have Brandon Clark. They don't have John Morant. They don't have Derrick Rose. They don't have Marcus Smart. And they don't have Bryant Big Country Reeves. So they ain't got no shot in hell tonight. Cavs on a back-to-back. Still love them. It's a long – that trick going to get whipped tonight. Give me the Cavaliers minus the points.
And then, JY, taking advantage of the Joel Embiid absence here. Kelly Oubre Jr. has your attention?
Yeah, he has my attention over 18.5 points. Kelly Oubre Jr., who is someone that's never been shy to get his shots off. One of the better acquisitions so far of the offseason. Underrated signing by Philadelphia. This guy can score. He can score bunches. And with the fact of no Embiid, he benefits probably the most. His points props at 18.5. He goes over tonight. I do believe he went 15 last game, but 25 the 2 games before that. He gets busy tonight.
We do have the worst NBA trade in history, potentially.
Oh, God.
That's being rude.
Steven Adams and Victor Oladipo trading places. Steven Adams is going to the Rockets, and Depot is going to the Grizzlies. Can either guy play basketball? I know Adams is out for the season. And 3 second-round picks as well. All right, there that is. So that's your breaking NBA trade.
What?
It doesn't matter, Coach. We got to get to the college.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Does not matter here. App State is in action tonight here, JY. App State on the road. What are you looking for in this game?
I'm going to take Appalachian State on the road tonight at Georgia State. Already has a win this year versus, remember, this is an Appalachian State team that I do believe has beaten JMU both times this year. This team plays really well. The line is, I think, 5.5. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Appalachian State to get the win and the cover.
In the Sun Belt as well, James Madison's laying a ton to Coastal Carolina. Big number not scaring you off?
Oh, hell no, it's scaring me off tonight. Because I think the fact that this team, remember, Kevin, they were undefeated. I think they've lost 3 out of the last 5 games. Coastal is god-awful. They're walking into a buzzsaw. They're walking into a team that is really in a bad mood, and Coastal cannot stop anybody. I'm going to go with James Madison to cover and win big.
Staying in the mid-major level here, Towson Northeastern. Towson at home, 6.5, 7.5 point favorite. What do you like?
I like Townsend State here. Townsend is one of the best teams in the Coastal. Remember, folks, it used to be called the Colonial. They're now called the Coastal because they're off the coast, I guess. But anyway, not important. I'm going to go ahead and take Townsend minus 6.5. They're one of the best teams in that league. Northeastern struggles, particularly on the road. Give me Townsend minus 6.5.
And then you're finishing it off here, Coach, with some ranked action in the Pac-12, Arizona and Cal. What's your look?
Well, very simple. Arizona crushes teams at home. They play terrible on the road. Cal's not good on the road. Arizona's at home. Big number, don't care. Arizona, minus 18.5, win by 25 plus.
A lot of faves, Coach. No worry? No worry?
Yeah, no worry. You know what? I tell you, you know what? You know who I do like as an underdog? Nebraska.
Oh, I'm on Nebraska.
I like Nebraska. I like Nebraska right. Plus 1.5. Listen, Nebraska's another team that plays really well at home, not so well on the road. I know Wisconsin's been the class of the Big Ten. The Big Ten I don't think is very good. Freddie Hoiberg's got that program finally turned around in Nebraska. I'll take the 1.5 points. I think they win outright.
All right. Let me ask you then something, Coach, while we have some time here. There's an increase in conversation now in the NBA about the 65-game minimum. And I'm kind of curious where you land on it right now. It looks like we're doing some blame game between owners and players. And I'm just curious what your thoughts are, again, on this current 65-game minimum for players to be eligible for awards and All-NBA and things of that nature.
Well, first blame has got to go to the broadcast rights. This was key. This was why people are pissed off. The broadcast rights, with the negotiations really coming up to a fault, too many star players were missing games. And the bigger thing was too many star players were missing. Ready, folks? The big games, the TNT games, the ESPN games, right? The ABC games. That is what pissed off a lot of people in the corporate world. So the NBA had to go crack down. Now, here's what I'm going to say to the NBA, and here's the owners. This is also your fault because a lot of you guys own your own arenas, right? I did a calculation, Kevin, 173. That is the number of days that is between the beginning of the season and the end of the season. So if you just play every other day, you don't have to worry about it. But these NBA owners, who sometimes own NHL teams, they want to fill the arenas up with concerts, so on and so forth. So that is my issue with the owners. Now, here is my solution. I know people are going to think I'm crazy, but that's the first or last time I probably heard it today. I still think you should start the season on Christmas Day and go to July 15th. 207 days. More time. Start the playoffs in the middle of July. You can wrap up the playoffs by the time football starts around Labor Day. And it wouldn't kill the ratings. Plus, there's not a lot of concerts, Kevin, in the summer because the concerts go to outside venues. They won't do it, Kevin, but I really wish the NBA would change their start date and start later and end later and give it more time and no back-to-backs.
I think so. All right, let me just start with this. The reason I can't stand the 65-game minimum is it is a gigantic waste of time. And I cannot believe everybody doesn't agree. I can't believe people are still defending this. The notion on the 65-game minimum was once we put this in, guys will stop missing time. And literally, Embiid is going to miss out on the MVP because of the 65-game minimum. So, immediately, they have been proven wrong. Your 65-game minimum did nothing. Embiid is not going to play 65 because Embiid is not healthy enough to play 65. You might say, well, that's crazy. Embiid shouldn't get MVP if he only plays 62 games. He wouldn't get MVP if he only played 62 games because voters, when they're deciding who's the league MVP, would hold it against Joel Embiid. What you have done, though, is now on the All-NBA team, first center will be Jokic, second center will be who gives a damn, and the third center will be even worse. And it won't be Joel Embiid. So right away, you've set yourself up for complete embarrassment, and you have ignored the problem, which is there are too many games, and specifically, as Coach said, back-to-backs. You must get rid of them. I don't care if they believe the players should be able to play them without missing time. They can't. They've proven it to you. They can't. Coach, just cut how many games we have. There won't be less TV dates. There'll just be smaller slates. And we'll be fine. And they'll stop missing games. And the idea of, well, what happens if I lose 10 home games? Just raise the prices. I don't care. You know what? You can justify it. Because now, when the fans show up, they'll actually see the guys they paid to come watch, so you can justify jacking up the prices. Coach, we can't do the 82. It's become abundantly clear. For whatever reason, today's NBA player cannot play 82 games. It is just the reality.
Well, you're right. And I think that's why I said you went one way, I went the other. Your way is go 72 games, right? Which would make sense. My way is start it later, more days, more break time in between. Either way, they have to eliminate back-to-backs. Listen, folks, when we were in COVID at Monmouth, we played back-to-backs because of COVID. You played Friday, Saturday, less travel time. You do not understand how physically taxing it is. And I'm talking Division I women's basketball. We're talking about the best players in the world playing 40 minutes. Then you got to turn around, and people don't notice, folks. Like, they don't put this together, right? A lot of times when you go back-to-back, they got to travel to the next city. What's happening? Game ends at what? 10 o'clock. Press conference, shower, post-game meal. What time are you leaving the arena? Maybe 11:30, maybe midnight. Now you got to drive to the airport. Then you got to get on the charter. Then you got to get to the hotel. What time do you get to the hotel, Kate? Up 3 in the morning? 3:30 in the morning? So now teams are doing shoot-around the next day? It's a joke. And it's a joke because the owners are lining their pockets. And that is what it came down to, because they want to line their pockets and they want to save as many dates as they can for other things. They just need to either cut the season down or extend the season longer. Make your choice.
Yeah, look, and a lot of the players are financially in a great spot, right? Now, some guys are like Halliburton's going to potentially miss out on the bonus stuff because he's not going to make All NBA, which is ridiculous. Halliburton is a starter in the All-Star game and won't get labeled one of the 6 best guards in the NBA because he may end up playing 64 games. It's just, again, this was so obviously stupid the second they did it, and everybody thought I was just defending the players. And everybody, I don't care. Everybody was wrong. Everybody was wrong. The idea was this would get guys to play more. LeBron's out tonight in Boston, along with AD. It is not on a national TV game. And they won't get fined, by the way, because they're both on the injury report for all 82 games. So it makes absolutely no difference. Celtics fans tonight get to watch a 15-point favorite. And again, we shouldn't even be talking about LeBron, by the way. He's in year 21. He should be allowed to play 6 games a year and make the All-Star team. It's not even about him, okay? It's about everybody else. Jokic just missed the game at OKC. It's the way things go. Coach, I might even hold you around here one more go-around. We're going to set people up here. Just some final looks at tonight's NBA card, college card as well. We will open up hour number 2 with the Super Bowl touchdown market. I've got a Super Bowl score for the Niners as well as a pick in right now for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we'll see if there's any other value to discuss all next here on SportsGrid.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I have
decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was good
late
betting.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, we're live with you here, Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh, Coach James Young. I'm not with you tomorrow here. And then over the weekend, some pro football today for you guys. And then I will see you out in Vegas mornings. It'll be me, Donnie, Ben, and Joe Lisi. So I'm excited for that. But that means that I don't get to talk to Coach until I sneak away and join the BATR podcast for an edition or two. But I wanted to ask you, JY, because I'm not going to get to talk to you tomorrow, just into the weekend, the college slate. Any game you're really, really focused on? For me now, Kentucky and Tennessee off the loss. What a matchup at Rupp.
That's going to be a big matchup, but it starts early, Kevin. I mean, I think the UConn St. John's game could be fascinating, but I'm going to scroll my way down because I've been waiting for this since they came into the league. Houston at Kansas. That could be a rock fight, K-Dub. That could be the definition of a rock fight. That could be a rock fight. That's going to be 4 o'clock ESPN. Yes, Coach is going up to Connecticut to watch one of the kids he trained plays. So, Sam, I love you, but JY will have his phone with him, and I will be watching college basketball as all this is going on. Because it's going to be one of the best regular season slates in a long time on a Saturday with all the games.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if there's any spot that I really like. And the one I'm interested in, we'll have to see what the number is. But Auburn on the road at Ole Miss. That Ole Miss 18-3 still looks shiny. Auburn lost 2 straight on the road. I think the idea for a lot of people is that, let's fade them again. And I'll probably back the Tigers. Any spot quickly, Coach, really catching your attention?
One last one, Kentucky, Tennessee. I'm not a big fan of Tennessee. I think they're frauds. Kentucky off a loss in overtime. We don't know about DJ Wagner. I'm still telling you, folks, I'm hearing that he's banged up, maybe out again. But that's a big spot.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. Touchdown, Super Bowl style next. Back right here on SportsGrid. It's Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Happy to have you here on a Thursday, February 1. How about it, man? Time goes quickly here on the grid. Want to talk some Super Bowl touchdown score price? Let's just eyeballs on the market. Who's at the top? You know who's at the top. Christian McCaffrey, as he should be. Above minus 200, anywhere you do your shopping for CMC. And, you know, one of the things for McCaffrey that is maybe I am trying to will into existence the Brock Purdy Super Bowl MVP. Obviously, the Niners would need to win the game. Is I really believe that Christian McCaffrey will need to score 2 touchdowns in order to win Super Bowl MVP. And I think having any player, do that 3 consecutive games is such a tall task. And you'll notice McCaffrey straight up anytime touchdown, minus 220. Shortest it's been in the postseason, plus 260 for 2. Tallest it's been in the postseason. And rightfully so. Look, I think the Chiefs' defense is getting some respect. I think with it being the Super Bowl, they're maybe almost leaving up more accessible numbers. That might sound counterintuitive, but I think it kind of is what you're seeing here. All these CMC touchdowns will be tied into parlays. And, again, understandably. But I'm going to be backing off McCaffrey. I'm not on Pacheco. He makes a lot of sense, that minus 140 price that we see on Isaiah Pacheco right now for his anytime touchdown score. He has scored so far in each of the postseason games. You could look around, find a bit better, minus 125, maybe even a minus 120 out there and available. As always, you want to do your best. And I will mention, as our radio audience is here on SportsGrid Sirius XM, Channel 159, Kevin Walsh with you here on a Thursday night. The Pacheco number, really high on FanDuel. Elsewhere, not as much. So that is eye-catching, because it seems to be that's the Pacheco book, if you will. And that's certainly something just to keep your eyes on there. But let's talk about who I'm on, and then we can go through the rest of the market in a moment. On the side of the San Francisco 49ers, give me Deebo Samuel, plus 170, anytime touchdown score. This is a number that has moved some, but you could still even find 175 in the market, plus 145 on the shop that which I bet this at. So for Deebo, he has not found the end zone yet in the postseason. And again, it'll come as no surprise. That is key for me. Deebo Samuel, touchdown scoring machine to close out the regular season. Of course, we're moving week 18. He scored 10 touchdowns in the team's final 8 games. 10 touchdowns in his final 8, scored in 6 out of the 8, and did not miss in back-to-back. He would basically not even miss back-to-back prior to his injuries that picked up in the middle of the season. And remember, Deebo getting in against Green Bay was something a lot of people were hot on. In fact, our guy down the right side was his best bet for that football game. He left injured. Comes back, plays Detroit, injured. People are like, ooh, how much workload are we going to get? Led the team in receiving yards. Had a rushing play on the goal line. Deebo Samuel, I think, should have a much shorter number here. And again, this number's been moving, but not enough. I think Deebo around plus 120, plus 115. And I still would have been looking to bet that number, right? On Deebo Samuel. I think he's into the end zone at plus 170. I think this is a great, great number here. And again, plus 145, I still think, is a great number on Deebo Samuel to find the end zone. On the Kansas City Chiefs side of it, give me Rashee Rice. So KC has only scored with 3 players so far this playoffs. Pacheco has ran in 3. Travis Kelce has caught 3. And Rashee Rice has caught the other. So when you look at the anytime touchdown score market, here's how it lines up for the Kansas City Chiefs, just using this one book, okay? Pacheco minus 140, Kelce plus 105, Rashee Rice plus 140, Pat Mahomes plus 360. That's how far back we go. MVS plus 550. That's the next closest skill player after Pacheco, Kelce, and then Rice. So there will be some tempting shots. I'm considering Noah Gray myself, plus 950. If Kadarius Toney's ruled in 9-1, he'll be interesting as well. But I'm playing Rashee Rice, and I'll tell you, You take a look here. First of all, not only has Rice scored in the Miami game, but he had a touchdown called off of the board in that matchup against Baltimore. It was a screen. It was a wide receiver screen. He was gone to the house, and the hold on the play that called it back, it was the right call, but it didn't really influence the blocking, right? So it's just it's there for Rashee Rice. He led this team in targets inside the 20 and inside the 10 in the regular season. We know the workload's legit. And take a look at the opponent here. So the 49ers allowed 20 passing touchdowns in the regular season. 16 of them, 16 went to wide receivers. That is a substantial, that's 80%. Even I can do that math quickly. 80%. Pat Mahomes, minus 140 to throw 2. If he's going to throw 2, it is incredibly likely that one of them is going to Rashee Rice. And it is hard right now to identify a wide receiver that is not Rice that is going to be able to bring in one of those touchdowns. So far in the playoffs, they've allowed 3 passing touchdowns, 2 to wide receivers, 1 to a tight end. I really do like this Rashee Rice number here, plus 140, still widely available on Rashee Rice. But again, as always, make sure you do get the best of the number. I wanted to bring up, so I love, look, everyone loves the anytime touchdown market. But one of the markets that I just appreciate the most about the Super Bowl is the over-under jersey number of the first touchdown score. 19.5 is where this is booked. It basically boils down to McCaffrey and the tight ends against everybody else. Both quarterbacks, Pacheco, Rice, Debo, Ayuk. You want to throw Jawan Jennings in the fold, you can. That's what this largely boils down to. Like, if you look at these numbers, right? That, MVS, if I'm right, 83. Let's double check what number MVS wears. But maybe he would come in for the. I'll check that, but maybe for the later numbers, that 19.5 number, though, I'm a bit tempted by the over. McCaffrey plus the tight ends. That's minus 110, right? You would also get a defensive touchdown. You would imagine, right? Who would be is anybody out there wearing a stupid number on defense, like a 7 that I can think of? Someone in the secondary somewhere probably is. That would be tough. But I've been tempted by that over 19.5 jersey number for the first touchdown score. Certainly something to think about. Huge breaking news in the NBA. No joke. Next. Huge.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time
I
decisions.
have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was good
Late
betting.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We
We
did.
patient, didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live right here on SportsGrid. It's Kevin Walsh with you on a Thursday night. Big breaking news in the NBA. No exaggeration. Joel Embiid confirmed a torn meniscus. Injured in the game against the Golden State Warriors. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN has said that Embiid will be held out through the weekend as a treatment plan is finalized. What this does is, to me now, without a shadow of a doubt, rule Embiid out of the NBA's MVP award. You see that there. Jokic, minus 125, is now minus 150. SGA plus 300 is plus 270. Luka has stayed at 5-1. Giannis right now we're seeing plus 850. Tatum is 37. What I would say on this market right now is I think Jokic is beatable. He is not having an untouchable season by his own standard. And that makes it beatable. We've seen Jokic do the things he is doing before. With Embiid gone, I think now SGA down, Luka, Giannis even, Tatum a little bit, gets interesting. Tatum just popped back 40-1. All stuff to keep your eye on. We can talk about this more as the night continues, but let's bring in the terrific Joe Madden, who is with us again here on Game Time Decisions. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Kevin. How about yourself?
I am doing well. We just did some Super Bowl touchdown scorers, Deebo Samuel, Rashee Rice. We're getting excited for the big game, and I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting excited for it. I really want to see the 49ers get the win, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to, Kevin. I think my money has to go on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm on the Niners, Joe, but I get it. It's Mahomes, and I know that is tough for people. Look, we'll talk a little bit more about the NFL in a moment, but I want to start with All-Star Weekend. Are you going to be betting in the NHL, of course, kind of any of these events? Is there stuff that you have your eye on?
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think when you're looking at these all-star events, you have to go light because you have to look at the motivation of these players to come out. And the skill competition has changed. And it actually sounds like the changes are for the better. People were getting bored of the competitions seasons before. And so this one, you have 12 players. The 12 players have 6 events that they can pick from. They choose 4 of those advance, and the top 8 players move on to the 7th event, which is the shootout event. And that's really interesting. And I think it's something everyone needs to take advantage of watching to see who these guys pick to go up against, because they get to pick their goalie. So you're going to see which goalie they think they have the best ability to be able to score on. And I think we can carry that over into our betting for the rest of the season. And then the top 6 of those move on to that final round. It's an obstacle course, and the winner takes $1 million. So it's going to be really interesting. If I'm looking at all the players out there, I really do think you have to circle Nathan MacKinnon. He's the most aggressively competitive guy out there on the ice. And I really do think Nathan MacKinnon, the value you're getting, has every opportunity of winning this skill competition and taking home that $1 million. Now, would I like to see Cale Makar win it? Absolutely. Cale Makar coming out there already telling some of his teammates, and I'm pretty sure the defensive teammates, he's going to split that $1 million with them if he gets a win. And he is a teammate there of Nathan MacKinnon. So we'll see what happens out there on the ice.
All right, looks like it should be a fun weekend, but let's start talking through some Super Bowl props here, Joe, because I know you're dialed in, and I got to go straight to the defensive side because I know you always look for these defensive player props here. Where are you seeing some early value for Super Bowl 58?
Yeah, I think you really need to look at Nick Bosa here and Chris Jones, both for the anytime sack. We look at both of these teams last week, and those offensive lines allowed both of the quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Brock Purdy, to be sacked twice. And when we look at Brock Purdy on the season, he's been sacked 28 times, Patrick Mahomes 27. I think in this one, looking at Nick Bosa to be able to break through, he's going to have a big day. Nick Bosa is going to put a lot of weight of this defense on his shoulders. So minus 136 for him for the anytime sack. You can also take him to record the first sack here for the 49ers. That's coming in at plus 180. And I think that has value on it as well. He has 10.5 sacks on the season. And when we look at Chris Jones coming in at minus 138 for the anytime sack. He'll be pivotal as well for the Kansas City Chiefs on the defensive side to break through and get to Brock Purdy. He's going to bring that pressure as well. 10.5 sacks for him on the season. Now, a little bit of concern here with that quad injury. He is listed as injured, but I 100% think he's going to be out there on the field and be impactful in this one. If you want to look at the longer shot for him to get the first sack here for the Kansas City Chiefs, that's coming in at plus 330. So I don't hate the value you're getting on that. I just think Nick Bosa probably gets the first sack for the 49ers, but I do think Chris Jones still gets a sack out there as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things, Joe, is I was going through this matchup. I think so. A lot of times when people do like the tail of the tape, it's like, hey, who's the better offensive line? Chiefs are. Who cares? Is the Chiefs' defensive line better than the Niners' offensive line? And Chris Jones is the swing factor in that. He is the first or second best defensive lineman in football for a lot of people. The thing is, the Niners have reps against the other guy, which is Aaron Donald, makes for an interesting spot. What about the tight ends here, Joe? Where are you seeing value with Kittle and Kelsey?
Yeah, I'm looking at Kittle, circling him big time in this game. When we look at his career versus the Kansas City Chiefs, it's actually surprising how many receiving yards he has been able to put up. Now, he's only played 2 games versus the Kansas City Chiefs. He's had 177 receiving yards on 11 catches and only that 1 touchdown. I do think his receiving yard prop is too low, and I think it's because of what we saw last week versus the Lions. We only saw 27 receiving yards out of him. The prop for Super Bowl is sitting at 48.5, and I do think this number is going to continue to tick up higher because I expect him to hit at least into the 70s in this one. So I love George Kittle over that 48.5. And then when I'm looking at Travis Kelce, we all know we have to play something on Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift's going to be back in the building, and everyone keeps talking about the number 13 and how it correlates with her and her favorite number. So if you're looking for a long shot prop, I was playing around on FanDuel trying to work out what I could take on Travis Kelce. Those numbers were hitting 13. So if you take Travis Kelce for the alt receptions of 13 plus, it's coming in at plus 850. And you got to laugh. The 8 plus the 5 plus 0 equals 13. Her favorite number. Now, Travis Kelce hasn't hit this number yet this season. but he did have 11 last week versus Baltimore. The connection between him and Patrick Mahomes just looked so solid out there last week, better than I think I've seen them all season long. It was so smooth. So I don't think it's that long of a long shot taking him here at plus 850 for 13 plus receptions.
The plus 850 part, 8 plus 5, actually really sold me. I would just make one other point. There are some people who believe that the Kelsey Swift stuff is manufactured for NFL ratings, right? If that is true, in your mind, then you are insane if you don't bet Travis Kelsey for Super Bowl MVP, because they then owe that to him to make sure that Taylor is up there with him as he accepts it. Quickly, Joe, Brock Purdy getting some love from you as well.
Yeah, Brock Purdy absolutely getting that love. Over 11.5 rushing yards. We saw how fantastic he was scrambling last week for 48 yards. And I do think in this one, the pressure that the Kansas City Chiefs defense is going to put on him, he's going to have to use his legs if the 49ers want to stay in this game. So over 11.5 in this one. And remember, the waxing moon is out for the Kansas City Chiefs. 19-1 when the waxing moon is out. The Chiefs have gone. So if you believe in all of that stuff, there's that bet.
There you go. There's a lot of voodoo and magic whenever Mahomes is out there, Joe, so it makes a lot of sense. Appreciate it as always. Coming up next on Game Time Decisions, Dave Sharapan, live from Vegas.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
Coast to Coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game Time Decisions.
I have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
better.
Night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Patient, didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're back. Little game time decisions. Kevin Walsh, Dave Shatterpan. So, Dave, yesterday you signed in. I was very stressed. Do you by chance know how things worked out for me and my wager in the Kentucky game?
He got there. Our guy got there.
It was 20-plus points, rebounds, and assists. He had 24 points with 8 rebounds and 6 assists.
I was talking about
the game went to OT. He played 45 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. There was no stress. I said it in the first segment with Wetzel. We kept an eye on it. And I thought it was just points, K-Dub. I thought you needed 20 points. And then I said, no. He said PRA. That's a thing. Right. It was PRA. I said, this was the easiest bet ever. That was outstanding. Yeah. They lost, though.
He had 17
Is that a bad
in the
loss?
first half.
Is that a quadrant 1 win? Is all these quadrants working out for Florida?
So that's the weird thing.
Are they in now?
Right. So it's good for Florida, right? That's a huge win for them.
Huge.
If you look at college basketball this season, for a team like Kentucky, they're already in the dance. We know that, right? And if everybody's beatable, does it matter? Yes, Kentucky wants to win. Obviously, they don't want to lose at home. They want to win an SEC regular season. All that's true, right? But now, so if you're asking from that, if you bet Kentucky to win the SEC regular season, that is a nightmare. Tennessee just lost at home to South Carolina. They play Saturday, Kentucky and Tennessee at Rupp. Right. If you're Kentucky, all you had to do was beat Florida. You go to that game, you beat Tennessee, you're the favorite. So, from that perspective, Dave, disaster. March Madness perspective, I don't even think it matters at all. I don't even think it matters one bit.
Do they have to get a top seed, though? Because are the seeds going to be important come March? Because it's easier playing out of the 1 seed or the 2 seed, right? Rather than the 3, 4, 5. No?
Hold on. Let me ask you this. You might know this even better than I would.
Right?
Seeding is supposed to matter. Dave, how many people did you know last year with a UConn futures ticket?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
A lot. Now, shame on the books.
They were a 4
and
seed.
Shame
right?
on. Yes, but Dave, they were a 4 seed.
Yeah.
I'd have to look back who was in their bracket, but everybody was betting them. Everybody. And it wasn't like people just kept picking them off, during Big East play. The bracket got set, everyone went, UConn's the best team here. I think they were top 8 on KenPom before the tournament tipped off.
Correct.
And yes, I will never get over that because their opening round matchup was Iona, and it was Rick's last game at Iona, and I'll always remember. But Dave, who cares about seeding? You're going to get if you're going to get the 2 seed or the 1 seed, and they're going to give you UConn in your bracket. Who cares?
Fair point. You got to let that Iona thing go. I mean, it's been a year. You got to let it go. You got to let it go.
We're not close. You know what? You're right. I shouldn't say never, but we're not close to letting it go. And certainly not. This stupid team goes back to back. I'm going to double down more. We're replaying the tournament. Okay? Walter, by the way, the kid last night that just diced up Walter Clayton on Florida. He was on Iona last year.
No, he wasn't.
I just wanted to win a game. Yes,
no, he was. He was on Iona?
Yes, he was. Yes.
Oh, they gave him a bag to go down to Florida? Florida's nice.
Yes, they did. They couldn't outbid Rick. It's New Mexico. Everybody loves this New Mexico team. You see big man Nelly Jr. Joseph? Iona.
Another one?
Iona. St. John's, his kid Danis Jenkins having a big season. Iona. We had to. Oh my God.
Oh, you had to squad.
You host a segment, Dave.
I mean to bring this up. You're getting
Can you
upset.
second?
Don't get upset.
Give me a minute.
We're going to do 2 segments.
Give me a minute. Talk.
All right, take it.
We got to do 2.
Kofsky, you got me for 2 segments. Finally, you let me and K-Dub talk for more than 12 minutes, and I didn't know, and I got him upset. I didn't mean to get you upset, Kevin. But listen, Iona, that was a good thing. They had it all together.
Made 7 threes.
And it'll come back. Like, won't it come back? Won't Iona come back? Look at this. Now we're on both screens. They won't even let you back in the ball.
All right, that was good.
That's
all right, that
great.
was good. That made me smile.
Look at that. Smile. Relax. Everybody take a deep.
All right, that was good.
All
right. You can put me back now. NBA All-Star teams came out, by the way. Let me just quickly do these for people that care, which is me. West All-Stars. I know. I'm well aware who cares. Me. West reserves. Steph, Kawhi, AD, Kat, Paul George, Ant Edwards, Devin Booker. First reaction, really good. Really good team. Those are the backups. East reserves. Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brown, Donovan Mitchell, Paolo Banchero, Bam Adebayo. I almost said Pam. Bam Adebayo, Tyrese Maxey, and Julius Randle.
They're the dog. They're the dog.
No.
Just by the names.
Line's out.
They're the plus. The other side is the minus. That's no question
East
about
is
that.
catching 2.5.
Yeah, I don't even. I was going to say 4. I was just in my head on the reserves. It's 4.
LeBron's in the West starting lineup. Is he bringing down their power rating? Hold on. Can I just say something? This is going to be so annoying for people.
What if, did you hear they're talking about trading LeBron?
Okay, wait. Give me a second on that. Because listen, I was literally told I'm losing a paycheck every time I bring up LeBron in Vegas. So let me get all this out while I can. I'm dead serious. Everyone's going to think I'm crazy. There's no way Embiid plays in that All-Star game. West should be 4. Not kidding. Nobody cares. Nobody's betting it. But Embiid, they just came out with the torn meniscus. The line should move. If they're hanging it, they should get it right. It's wrong. No?
2.5. It should be 4 to begin with, just on the reserves. I don't even know who's starting.
7. Could it be 8? How high can we get this thing?
Oh, it's going to go. Where's he getting
traded?
traded?
money line.
First of all, so you have to get all the LeBron mentions out today and tomorrow. That's it? You can't mention them in Vegas?
I'm not even working tomorrow. Yeah. I already told Coach I'm going to sneak away, do a little BATR. So.
Well, you can come on BVB and talk about LeBron the whole time if you'd like. If you need you need a pick. Absolutely. You can come on. We can talk basketball. That would be outstanding.
All right.
You're on. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Good. Let me ask you this.
Is he going to go to the East?
Okay, so here's my question to you. So JY and I were breaking this down. If I told you he goes to the Sixers for Tobias Harris and picks.
Really?
How high do they go? Money can work pretty easily.
Oh, we're back.
All right, let's work it like this. Hold on. Philly right now is 20-1. They moved,
better than Milwaukee.
They moved.
Start saying the song.
Hold on.
I'm getting excited.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Goodness.
Philly right now is 20-1. Some of that's the Embiid news. Tobias out, LeBron in, picks, doesn't matter. 20-1 Philly. 17-1 is Minnesota and OKC. They jump both, right?
Yes.
12-1 Phoenix. They jump them?
Now we get right around there. Who in the East? What is the Celtics and the Bucks price right now?
To win the title, Bucks are plus 550. Boston plus 280.
I say we go to 12 and see what we do. I think we go to 12,
I'll tell you what you do. You get hit with an avalanche called Kevin Walsh. You go to 12 with that number. You better go down to 7. You better go down to 7 right now. You better keep dropping that thing.
What are you going to do with all the purple and gold stuff? I'm going to have to get you all the Sixer stuff. You got the Sixer stuff already,
I will buy all the Sixer stuff proudly. What do you think? We still have the Cavs stuff. We have the Heat stuff. We're good. Don't worry about it. We're good.
The Sixers getting LeBron? Oh, we're going to have to do our own show. We'll call it the LeBron Hour. Oh, my goodness.
All right, let me ask you. The Knicks aren't trading for him.
They might get LeBron. Oh, my God.
Hey, listen.
I just yelled down to the kids.
If you're in the room, like the Lakers are. See, this is the nice thing Like, what would the odds if they hung right now? And they probably do out there. Or do they still hang yes and no's to like win the title, win the West, or something like that?
Yeah, yeah. The Circa has the future prices to win a championship are yes no's. You can bet the no right now on every team. You couldn't make the no high enough. As soon as they ship them, it goes to 99999. 9. However many digits you can put in there, boom, it's done,
man.
Wrap. It's over.
You want to talk about a gift, a personal gift. Preseason, there's 2 human beings in the world that believe in Philly. Me and Nick Nurse. That's it. Only 2. And we get to the deadline. And LeBron's on that team.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get fired. They're not going to let me talk basketball ever again.
We'll be fine. Oh, we'll start playing the song just like we do on Cash Considerations. We'll play the song every day.
Great
10,
show.
9, 8, 76ers. Let's go. Is this a real possibility, or are you just hyping me up? I'm going to get off of this show. I'm going to go on every show I'm on and say, K-Dub told me he might go to Philly. This is great. This is great news.
You know what? I got another one for you. We got a little NFL breaking news. The hits just keep on coming. A little NFL breaking news for the people. A little teaser, a little tag. You keep it right here. It's Game Time Decisions.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction, or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman
The
Trophy
early
race
line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell
backup quarterbacks.
Coast to Coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game Time
I have
Decisions.
no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
Late
good betting.
Night.
We waited for the 1.5. We got paid.
We did.
Didn't like the 2.5. jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting, ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live out here on SportsGrid, it's Kevin Walsh, it's Dave Sharapan, it's Game Time Decisions. So you had some NFL breaking news. Mike Garofalo, NFL Network. The Raiders locked in on Cliff Kingsbury, new offensive coordinator here for the Vegas Raiders. So some positive Vegas news ahead of Vegas week. Does this jump off the page for you at all, Dave?
No. I mean, it's good because you got to get a guy who I think is going to take complete control of it and let Antonio Pierce keep doing what he's doing and focus on the defense and focus on just getting the lay of the land as far as being a head coach and delegating responsibility. So Kingsbury's had success. That's great. He's been a head coach. That's great. Still got to solve the problem who's throwing the ball, but
they need a quarterback.
That's more important, I think. I mean, it's great to have a good coordinator, but it's better to have a good quarterback.
I like the move.
Yeah.
Because Cliff did have more success in the NFL than people would lead you to believe.
Correct.
But my takeaway from this is not that he is in Vegas, and it's that he is not in Chicago. Which you would imagine Cliff Kingsbury would have been told, like I would imagine he would have had his choice. And maybe he said, well, Chicago, are you going to draft Caleb? Maybe the Bears said, we don't know. Maybe they said no. I don't know. One of the things, so I am fascinated by what they will do, the Chicago Bears. A lot of people feel very confident that they are going to draft Caleb Williams. Understandably. A lot of people would also be including the odds makers. Minus 1,200, number one overall pick is Caleb. But the caveat, of course, is the Bears don't have to pick one, and Caleb could go one. The only thing is, and I know it is a scenario that everyone tells me is a 0% chance of happening. But 0 is too strong.
Yeah.
If the Bears decide 100% we are keeping Fields, and everybody behind them says, good for you, then draft. I don't know if they can really take Caleb. I know everybody thinks they're going to be able to trade out and get a ton of picks. But, Dave, it's a better than 0% chance that they would have to sit there and draft. And at that point, then probably Marvin Harrison Jr. goes first.
Wow.
No?
No, the scenario makes sense, but I think the value of the pick holds more value if they trade it than if they draft Caleb and trade him. So I don't know. Like, this was always one of those things that I absolutely hated doing in the room. Trying to come up with the odds for the draft is hard enough, but trying to come up with the odds for the draft, not knowing if they're going to do the draft with the teams in the order that they have it in. So, because if you know that the Bears are going to trade back even one pick, that means Caleb's going number one, and I might as well make it minus 2,000 to keep the bettors off of it. I mean, this is it's hard. It's a challenge. I told everybody that it's coming to Vegas this weekend, and they'll be here all next week. I'm not talking about the draft. As much as you're not allowed to talk about LeBron, I'm not talking about the draft while I'm here. I want to talk about the game. I want to talk about the numbers, the props, what we can do in Vegas later after our obligations, things like that. Good places to eat, whatever you want. Don't ask me who's drafting who. Don't ask me about none of that stuff because I don't want to talk about it this week. It's about the game or about LeBron. We'll talk about him. That's fine. That's fine. I don't want to talk about the draft.
Well, so, yeah, again, what I think is so interesting, and I know you just said you don't want to talk about it, so I'll do it quickly. But
I'll talk about it.
Maybe it exists. No, I know, but I would just like to know if someone is booking out there odds of the first pick for Chicago, like Bears first draft selection odds. I'm just curious about
whether
that.
they take the first draft pick or who they take.
Who? Like player selected by Bears with their first pick.
So let's do it right now. What are the options?
Caleb
Marvin
would
Harrison.
still be like minus. I think Caleb. Yeah, I don't think they're taking a tackle. I don't think so.
We'd have to come up with numbers.
The problem, though.
Caleb.
So I think
Marvin
Caleb is like
Field?
minus 600. I'd bet Field probably and lose. But my thing is, so let's say they trade out. We're sticking with Fields. We're trading out. Marvin might be gone by the time they go. Obviously, if they trade out, they're not getting Caleb. Let's just say they trade it back to 6.
Top 5 is taking Marvin. It's not Washington. Right? It's not New England.
Arizona picks 4th. Arizona.
Is it Arizona?
No?
I don't know. Does that help them?
Again, I don't know.
I mean, Marvin Harrison helps anybody, but I think they need help on the interior.
I'm not saying they don't, but what I'm saying is if you're the Cardinals and you're sitting there and Marvin's on the board, you're probably picking him.
Fair. That's what I mean. It's hard enough to speculate, like first pick overall, position, quarterback, anything else. Second pick, quarterback, anything else.
Yeah.
Is it QB, no matter what teams are in the slot?
So the reason that stuff is usually yes is like first non-quarterback selected at a different place is minus 475 Marvin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's strong. But the idea, basically, here's how people think the draft is going to go. Caleb 1, Jaden Daniels and Drake May in some order, and then Marvin. That's how a lot of people seem to think the draft is going to break.
Okay.
It's early, but that's what the conversation is right now.
Wow. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. Let me ask you this. We're pushing back towards 3. I mean, 2.5. We're closer to 3 than the Chiefs being favored, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bring red.
You think
San
they get
Francisco
to 3?
red. Bring first 1 to 3 usually loses because you can't get back off the 3 in these situations, but it's still the first week, so you got time. I think you're going to really be reluctant to go to 3. You don't need to. It's betting. The big bets already came in at 1 and 1.5. So if you already, you already laid it with the Niners, you're good. So from the book's perspective, we could go back down and get whatever we want below 2. We go to 1.5. You want to go to 1, fix the money line. That's fine. I don't want to go to 3 because I don't want to open up a window of opportunity of getting sided on the game. Falls 3. I give back all the 3s. I lose all the 2.5s and 2s. It's the Super Bowl. We can't. I don't want to get sided or middled. I mean, they still talk about the 35-31 1979 Super Bowl with the Steelers and the Cowboys. All my guys that are older and were actually either in the business or betting it, it fell in the middle. I mean, the game fell 4. It was 6 and it was 3, and it fell 4. They called it Black Sunday. So, I mean, they actually made a movie about it. Not the game falling in the middle, but they made a movie about that Super Bowl, Black Sunday. So, yeah, we don't want that, K-Dub. We don't need that. Can I ask you real quick, Lakers, Boston?
Yes.
Is this the best rivalry in basketball? We talked about this today. The Lakers and the Boston Celtics used to be the best rivalry in basketball. They're playing tonight. Your man sits out. AD sits out. It's the only trip back east. It used to mean everything. The line is 2 touchdowns and an extra point. 15. What are we doing? I love this rivalry. It's not that rivalry anymore, is it?
Well, I mean, look, it will obviously never be what it was. Magic and Larry is once in a lifetime. And sometimes we say once in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime means once in a lifetime. The two best players in the league were on the Celtics and the Lakers, and they just played every year in the finals. Okay?
Right.
So that's what that was. I think it is still the best rivalry in the NBA because I think it's the only game, no matter who's on the teams, when you see the two teams matched up on the slate, you go, ooh, Celtics-Lakers. Right?
Yes.
You don't go, ooh, Bulls-Pistons. You don't do that. So
not anymore.
You don't go, ooh, Knicks-Heat, right? Like, oh, I wonder if this game will have 60 points in it. Trash-ass games. But that, you know what I mean? So, but also, like, David, I kind of, like, LeBron and AD are, you think they're missing this game because they don't care? These guys aren't healthy. Is that, like, how long are we going to have to do this for? You know? You think LeBron doesn't care about, I mean, maybe LeBron's over it, but AD missed the game in Atlanta. Like, you think, like, this is what people think that, like, AD missed the game in Atlanta to justify missing the game in Boston? No. That's not how this works.
Right.
It's just AD's hurt again. Welcome to the NBA. What are we doing?
Yep. Yeah, it's a bummer. I had the Laker hat already too. I got this special edition Laker hat I wanted to show you. It says LA in script. It's purple, matches my Super Bowl stuff. I was all excited. Then I saw the line fly this afternoon. I said, oh no, they're not even playing. It's just no good.
But no. I think now you just take the 15. Right? Isn't this what we've seen constantly?
Yes. You'd think so. But...
Right? Like every time, like every single person who bet Boston minus 11 loses, usually. Like that's what we've seen. That's usually what we see in the NBA. Like it is unfortunate, but it is how this stuff usually goes. In my eyes, at least.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Because, and it makes sense, by the way, too, right? To your point, Celtics-Lakers, right? The Boston Celtics go, LeBron, AD, let's get going. And then who's Jackson Hayes is starting, and they come out flat. And then the Lakers just hang around all game because 15's $1 million. And, like, D'Angelo Russell found out that those two were sitting. He's like, oh, this is the best game of my life. He's already taken about 5 shots in this game, it looks like.
His props over? His props over?
21.5 was his number.
PRA? PRA?
I was tempted. But listen, I took him to make the first 3 in this game. We're doing it again. Nobody's made a 3 yet. We're 5 minutes in. Like, it's just someone make it, put me out of my misery. Still.
That's the longest sweat to make a 3 in a long time.
No, it's not even longer than what I... Just shoot it from forever. Let's see if I can just root this in. No, it's just running pick and roll. But the roll man's getting it every play.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here's Austin Reeves. He'll make it. He made it. There it is. Austin Reeves makes the first one.
Okay.
What are you going to do? We took D'Lo. We tried to spread it around. We couldn't spread. Everybody had a chance at it.
Utah tonight? Utah against the Sixers? Philly?
Too many. Take Philly. No? Like the Jazz?
I'll see you this weekend.
See you then.
Thought that Mike would maybe go in a different direction or at least listen to some people with some different ideas.
If you were going to retain Mike Tomlin as coach, and I believe with both feet that you shouldn't let him really anywhere near this hire. That he had proved over the years that this was not an area of comfort or expertise for him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's a beautiful time. NBA players are going wild. If I had to guess, a lot of people are going to get real angry. No defense, no defense, no defense. See, I want people to understand this, okay? Because we're always honest. When I take that big pause, that means we're thinking about betting big.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network.
We'll look at the Heisman Trophy
The early line.
and what it all means. Individual success.
You should have tried to get something for Anthony Rendon. Not bought at the deadline.
Newswire.
We're getting a lot of news, trades, cuts, and some movement in terms of starting quarterbacks,
Pharrell,
backup quarterbacks.
coast to coast.
I want to watch great players make buckets and win games.
Game time decisions.
I have no idea what the heck the Blazers are doing and what they
In-game live.
Just
Prime
took 'em
time.
yard for a grand slam.
The bottom of the fourth inning in a 12-2 baseball game. We got football scores going on at Wrigley right now.
Sports Rage
That was
late
good betting.
night.
We waited for 1.5. We got paid.
We
for
did.
patient, didn't like the 2.5. Jumped on
There's
it.
no taking weeks off in golf betting ever. These are the best weeks to bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Last stop till Vegas, game time decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh with you here on a Thursday night. It feels like Thursday afternoon. I've been here for a while. I feel like it's light out. It's dark. Doesn't matter. Nebraska plus 1.5, baby. Give me the Cornhuskers. I like this spot. Lost their last game out against Maryland. Have not lost at home yet in Big Ten play. Against a Wisconsin team whose last two road games are non-covers. Lost outright at Penn State. Laid 2.5 to Minnesota. They only won by 2. So, do not. Come on, man. Do not. What a scene. Don't leave the 1.5 on the table, huh? What do you on the table? You see what I. Yeah, it's a tough spot. Also, let's get Umar Bayo over 9.5 rebounds tonight. The big man for the Arizona Wildcats. Is in a good spot against the Cal team that he had 11 rebounds against in only 21 minutes. Last matchup for him was against Oregon. Only played 20 minutes. Foul trouble. Put him on the bench for a lot of that game. Still secured 9 rebounds. I think he makes sure that he stays out of foul trouble, stays aggressive in this game on the glass, and has a good one late night in the Pac-12. So give me Umar Bayo over. For those that have not seen him, 4 picks already on the board for the Super Bowl in Vegas between the Niners and the Chiefs. Deebo Samuel, anytime touchdown score, plus 170. Rashee Rice, anytime touchdown score, at plus 140. And from earlier in the week, we have Brandon Ayuk over 4.5 receptions and Patrick Mahomes 25-plus rushing yards. And I am sure that there is more to come. And I am excited to deliver that out there in Las Vegas. There will be some pro football today for you this weekend here on the network. And then Monday morning, myself, Donnie Rightside, Joe Lisi, and Ben Stevens out in Las Vegas for you. An 8 a.m. East Coast start time. Pro football today. Monday through Friday. Cannot wait. In-game live is up next. I'm Kevin Walsh. Best of luck on your bets.